Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on October the 23rd, 2019. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. So a couple of things here before we dive into the news. The main one here is the Brexit vote here. So today there was a Brexit vote in terms of the agreement to leave the European Union. So it was put to parliamentary vote here. So the agreement itself was passed, the withdrawal agreement was passed. However, the timeline was rejected. So the Prime Minister was trying to get a really ambitious timetable. So they still wanted to withdraw by October 31st. So they were trying to get everything done within that time frame, but the Parliament has rejected that. So now they'll have to go back to EU for an extension. So that's what we have. And as a result of that, we saw that the British pound has dropped. And coming up here, so that was the one thing. And then we had elections for Canada. And there was volatility in Canadian dollar as a result of that, but things have gone back to normal now. So coming up here for today, we have Bank of Japan core CPI numbers, CPI number or inflation. In other words, this is an important number that the central banks will track. So if the CPI numbers are CPI numbers decline, that will be negative for Japanese yen. And if they're positive, we're likely to see Japanese yen go up as a result. So that's coming up tonight. And then coming up on Wednesday here, a light day in terms of major news here. We have consumer confidence numbers out of the Eurozone here, and then crude oil inventories, which generally have an impact on oil as well as Canadian dollar. We also have a federal budget here. If it matches this forecast number, that would be good. But if it's negative, like we saw a big deficit, that would be negative for US dollar. And then we have PMI numbers out of Australia and Japan. PMI numbers are precursors to our retail sales, so they're leading indicators. So these numbers are important here. So that's it for news. So let's go to our charts now. Okay, so starting off here, we have euro dollar. Yesterday, we were looking for a drop in euro dollar. We got that, but this all happened after the election. It did go sideways here for a bit. And then we saw this, or I should say after the vote. So we saw this decline here. At this point though, our bias is still to the downside. We have a bearish candle close, but something to keep in mind here, we are into support here. So last time when price was here, even though we had a bearish candle, it turned around. Same thing here, price turned around right into the support, and that's where we are at this point. So what we are looking for, so bias is bearish, but again, with caution here, if price does not break through the support level at 1.1120, it could go higher up like this. But our bias is to the downside. So we need to see a break. If the price breaks to the downside, then I'm looking for a pullback and a further drop. So this support area at 1.1120 is critical today for euro dollar. The bias is to the downside. Next target is 1.1080. So bearish bias here for euro dollar. Pound dollar here, this one is also bearish here. We saw a drop in British pound as a result of that Brexit vote here. A big drop, but now we are into support. So keep that in mind. Bias is to the downside, but because we are into support here, we have to be cautious. So again, we need to see a break through the support for this to continue. So we have support coming all the way over here. And as we can see, price has struggled here for the last few days. So we need to see a break through the support, a pullback, and then looking for a drop here. bias is to the downside. Next target is 1.2750, and then below that 1.2650. So bearish bias here for pound dollar. But do keep an eye out for any comments in regards to Brexit, because this will still move the markets. Aussie dollar here, this one, we see that price went into our resistance level here, the previous resistance level, and this is a strong resistance level. So last time price was here, we saw a big decline, and now we have seen price retreat from the same level here. So bias is to the downside, but again, we are into support here. So as we can see here, when price came into this level, it tried to go through, but then rejected it and moved higher. And here as well, price struggled for a while before it actually dropped through this level. So same thing here, bias is to the downside, but again, we need to wait for price to actually break through the support level for it to continue further. So bearish bias, but I would look for a drop through the support, a pullback, and only then looking for price to drop further. So bearish bias here, 0.6820 is the next target. But same thing with euro and pound. If price does not go through this level, it can go higher up and test this level, the high of today, or even into this 0.6900 level once again. So bearish bias, but with caution. New Zealand dollar, this one also we have a doji. Price is rejecting this level here, so bias is to the downside, and the target here is 0.6360. So bearish bias, and again we are into support. So if price does not actually break below 0.6400, we could see this one go higher as well. But bias is bearish. Next target is 0.6360, then 0.6320. So bearish bias for New Zealand dollar as well. Same thing though, if it doesn't break through the support, this one could go and retest these previous highs once again. So just need to be cautious here. Dollar CAD here, dollar CAD moved all the way up, and then it has dropped, and now we are into support again, so we have to be cautious, but bias is still to the downside here. Next target is 1.3050, and in terms of a pullback here, we could get a pullback into a 1.3100 and then a drop. But same thing here, if it doesn't break through the support and hold below, it could turn around. So this is the move that I would look for. But again, because we are into support, if it just holds above 1.3080, then it could go back up. So we need to be cautious, but bias is to the downside. Next target here is 1.3050. All right, next one, looking at commodities here. This is silver. Silver has been going sideways. Price has just been waiting on the market. It is neutral today. We are still stuck in this range. Yesterday we were looking for a drop. We got a bit of a drop here, but it hasn't really done a whole lot. So neutral bias here. I'm just looking for price to trade within this range between 17.80 and 17.25 here. So this is looking range bound here, neutral bias for silver. Gold here as well. Gold did drop a little bit here, but then it has gone up. So this one is also trading in a very, very narrow range. We have a slightly bullish bias here for gold. So I'm looking for price to go towards the top of this narrow range here towards 1497. So bias is bullish, but just be careful that this has been trading in a range. So it could still stay range bound for now. So slightly bullish bias, looking for 1497, and only if it goes through could we look for a move higher. So for now, slight bullish bias for gold. Oil here. So oil has also been trading in a range. A lot of stuff just kind of in a holding pattern this week. We do have a bullish candle close here, so I will look for price to retest the high here at 54.80, and that will be the level where we'll have to see how price reacts. If it rejects this level again, then we're likely to see a drop back into this range. On the other hand, though, if price goes and retests this level and actually goes through, then we could see a move higher, and this candle here could get filled. For now, though, target is only 54.80 because we could see oil run into trouble here. So if it doesn't go through, we could just see a drop here. So for now, a slight bullish bias for oil and looking for it to go towards the top of the range at 54.80. Copper here, copper is looking bearish here. We have a bearish candle close. So I will look for price to drop further into 2.57. That will be the first target. So this level here, as we can see, this is a nice support resistance level here. 2.57 is the first target, and then 2.55 is the second target for copper. So bearish bias for copper. Bitcoin here, Bitcoin still looking range bound here. As we can see, it's been trading in this range for a while now. We have a slight bearish candle close, so looking for it to drop further towards 76.80 level, which is the bottom of this range. So within the range, looking for it to drop towards the bottom here. So bearish bias for Bitcoin. Let's take a look at equities here. So equities were very bullish for a while here. They were trying to go higher, but today we have a drop here. So bias is bearish. We have a nice bearish candle close. Bias is bearish. 29.80 is the first target, and only if it goes through that level, we could see it go lower. 29.75, and then we're looking at 29.65. So bearish bias for S&P 500. NASDAQ here, this one is looking bearish as well. Price has rejected this level. So this was a strong support resistance level. Twice this level has been rejected now. So looking for a drop. First target is 77.80. And then second target here, we are looking at 77.35 level. So bearish bias for NASDAQ as well. DAX here, this one is also looking bearish. We have seen a drop here. Price failed to break through the high. So I'm looking for price to drop further here towards 12,595 levels. So 12,600 level. So bias is bearish. Next target will be 12,500. So first target 12,600, then 12,500. So bearish bias for DAX, looking for it to come back towards this previous support resistance level. And then FTSE here, FTSE still going sideways here. We do have a bullish candle close, so we could see a move higher towards 72.50, but it's still range bound. So we could see price either retest the high of today, or it could go towards 72.50. And then we could see price come back into the range here. So not looking totally solid, but we could see a move higher in FTSE here. Japanese yen, this one is, sorry, not yen, Nikkei here. So Japanese Nikkei, this one is looking bearish as well. Price tried to break higher here, but then we have a doji. So I'm looking for price to drop, looking for price to come back towards these pins here. So this previous support resistance level at 22,400. So looking for a drop here in Nikkei here as well. So bias is bearish for Nikkei. So that's it for today. You guys have a wonderful trading week, trading day, and I'll be back again tomorrow with the market analysis. Bye for now.